Hi, I'm Kelly from Kelly J Jewellery. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make these cute dangly earrings. I'll put a list of everything you'll need in the description below. So let's get started. A quick shout out to my patrons for your continued support. Really appreciate you guys, and I'll put your names on the screen. Thank you so much, my lovelies. So to make these earrings you'll need 0.8mm wire, which is 20 gauge, and I've cut two lengths at 8 inches, which is 21 centimeters. I've got a selection of beads, so I've got two 8mm beads and 4 4mm beads. I've got two jump rings. I can't remember if I've measured these already. Hold on a second. 6mm outside measurement, so anything that kind of size. I mean, you can use any size you like really. And you'll need two ear wires. You could put really big jump rings on there and that could look really nice, but it's entirely up to you what you do. So tools, I've got my pliers. Mine are needle nose pliers, round nose, cutters, nylon pliers. If you don't have nylon pliers, don't worry. I like keeping them handy for like straightening the wires. When you're working with square and the wire tends to twist a little bit, it's nice you can use your nylon pliers to flatten it out and you won't mark your wire. Right, I am going to have a second pair of pliers handy later for attaching it all together. I do like having my bent nose pliers when I'm opening and closing jump rings and that, but that's just me. You can use anything you like. So I decided to go with 10-inch wires. And if you look at if you measure 11 centimeters from the end, that's where we're going to start. So I've made this a few times now, and I think I'm going to go with slightly longer wires. So we're bending it at that 11 centimeter part, squash it completely flat, and then grip the tip with your pliers, and we want to take the shorter end, so I'm going to turn it around. You want your shorter end to the front, and we're going to take that wire out to the left. And we want to try and keep this back wire, which is the longer wire, as straight as we can. My beads are rolling all over the place. Right, then turn it around, so this is our longer length here. You then pop your beads onto that wire. And we want the next, let me just find my tape, we want this bit to be 3.5 centimeters. So from the end, 3.5 centimeters, which is about 1.5 inches. And we're going to grip the wire with your round nose pliers. And we're going to grip it. So we're not gripping the tip, we're going not quite halfway. So we're going to put a loop at this end. This is to attach our ear wires to. So bend the wire over the front of that. Adjust your pliers to be up. And then just give it a wiggle. If you grip it and wiggle the pliers, you bring the wires together below that top bit there. So we've made a sort of a closed loop at the top there. Grip the tip of that with your pliers and bend that wire out to the left. Just give it a little squeeze there to close the loop. So this is what you have so far. Both your wires are going out in opposite directions. The top one has a loop. Your bar down the middle is pretty straight. And the bottom part is just bent completely flat. We've got our 3 beads in the middle. Right, next, starting at the bottom, I'm going to take our wire. Hold on, let me get it all nice and flat first. And we're going to scoop it around the bottom bead. My wire is twisted because it's square, and that's what square does. I'm just straightening it a little bit. So that wire comes around the bead like that. Then, trying to keep that nice and flat, we're going to go around the big bead. So kind of holding it all in place the best you can. We're going to scoop that wire around so it comes around that big bead like that. So then here, once you're happy with the shape of this bottom wire, we're going to hold in this part here, take this wire around the straight wire that comes up the middle. We just give it a little squeeze there so it grips around that middle part. So then we're going to take this wire, we'll turn it around. I'm going to push that to the back for now. So we're going to take this wire next. This is the one from the looped end. And we're going to go around the bead. So as you take it around, I tend to turn it around a little bit. So your wire comes into position there. And at this point, we're now going to go around the big bead, but we're going to go to the back. So scoop it around, but take it to the back. Like that. And then I'm holding this forward and I'm holding this back. We're going to bring that wire across the front. Going to scoop that wire around into quite a large scoop. How shall I do it? If we push it down a bit towards the bottom and then scoop it around. So we're kind of matching the shape, I think. If I give it a little squeeze there, it'll hold better and stop moving around. So then looking at this wire at the looped end, we're going to scoop that around. So again, I'm taking it out wide and then I'm bringing it in and scooping it up as I did at the other end. This wire in the middle just needs to go back a little bit. That's it. Now if you do decide to do something different, you may go round in circles, because I've made this so many times just to come up with this one, and I'm really pleased how this looks. If you decide to go another way, you do end up with a lot of wire, or you'll end up with too much bunching around the beads. But have a go, see what happens. So all I'm going to do now is finish off these wires. So I'll take it around the neck there. And I'll do the same at the other end. And we just finish with just a little curl at each end. Before you curl, squeeze it around the middle, because after you've done your curl it's a bit awkward. And then with your round nose, pull it around into a little curl. And then we have quite a nice delicate little earring. So you can either make the other one the same, or you could do it in reverse. I'll show you how to do that. So take your other length of wire, which is 10 inches, and then we measure 11 centimetres, which was just over 4 inches. And we grip that wire there, and we bend it over the front. So this is the bottom bend, so this needs to be nice and flat. Then we take the shorter end, so I'll just turn that around. To grip the tip, take the shorter end, and we bend that out. We've got to bend it out to the right this time, and that's how we get the reverse one. So it's all the same, but bend it out the other side. Then, so now you measure your 3.5. Now it's best to actually measure it against your other earring to get it the same. So I'll just pop my beads on first. Start rushing ahead, I'm going to get it wrong. I've put so much in the bin today, I've got to get something right. Okay. So instead of measuring it, I'm going to compare. So if I put the bottom parts together, I then want to grip the wire with round nose at the same point at the top there. And then bend the wire over the front and give it a wiggle. Take the tip, bend that wire out to the right. Give it a little pinch to bring it back together. And if you put the bottoms together, nope, can you see mine is higher? So that's going to be bigger, that's going to look huge. So I'm going to cut another piece of wire and see if I can get the bend a bit lower. Because if I start readjusting this one, I'm going to end up with bends everywhere, aren't I? If I try bending it there instead, it's going to buckle up that wire at the front. This could be a good time to show you how to get rid of those wire marks. So if I put the bottoms together, that's the right size now. Right, so if you've got loads of marks in your wire, like I have, what you need is, you can either use fine sandpaper or you can use like a nail buffer. I bought this cheap nail buffer off Shein. And we're going to just go over the marks, and my marks are quite deep because I did it with my round nose. And this is just a buffer, you can use the actual file if it's really bad. Anyway, the idea is you go through the different grades, starting with the most coarse one, until you get all those marks off. And you should end up with a nice shiny wire at the end of it. You can also do this for just polishing your piece up at the end on the main parts. You could just go over it with the finer one. But anyway, that gets the marks out. I went and found it to show you. This is a very old one of them with the square things with the numbers on. So you go through the different numbers and you can get it off. Get all your marks off. You get it back to a nice shine. So it does work. It takes a bit of work sometimes. Right, where were we? So I'm going to give it a wiggle to get the wire close together. That was it. Right, okay, let's go back out a little bit. So we go to the bottom. Try and keep it nice and straight. And we take the bottom wire around the bead. So we're just following it, following what we did before, but we're going around the other way because we're doing one as an opposite. Then you go around your big bead. So we just need to get my square nice and flat. And you go around the big bead. That's how Gracie making all the snory noises. So then that wire goes around the middle, so holding this back as you press it around, give it a squeeze, be gentle on the wire. Saw it twist then, so I'm going to twist it back. So next we take this wire, and this is our loop one. We're going to go around the bead. Go on, get in there. That's it. Like that. Straighten my wire again because it's square. Beginning to wish I'd use round. So if you look at them side on, I'm just trying to see if the middle bar is straight, and you can look at the back to see if they're straight. And there we have them, opposites. We just need to add some jump rings and the wires to the top. So yeah, I'm going to oxidise them because I'm thinking, though there's no weaving wire, the darker bits will be in between the wires, and it'll probably look quite nice. So I'm just going to attach the jump rings, and I'm going to run and oxidise, and then I'll show you what they look like. So there we have them finished. I've oxidised mine. If you'd like help oxidising yours, I've done videos on oxidising and aftercare. I'll put links in the description below. I do like that oxidised finish on the copper. So I hope you managed to follow this tutorial okay, and I will see you all very soon with the next one. Bye for now. Bye.